guys, welcome to Code Bandit. In this tutorial, we'll see how to implement routes in Angular 2. Now, just to explain in a very simple manner, what is routes or what do you call routing in Angular? Whenever you write any keyword in front of your application's URL, it will take you to that particular page where you have redirected to. Now, for example, this is our localhost URL, and when you write about, it will take you to about page. When you write home, it will take you to homes page, but you have to actually implement the backend work for this keyword home or about or whatever you have to write. So let's move further to next slide. Now, what are the steps that we will be following to implement today's concept of routing in Angular? The first step that we'll be doing is implementing of demo components, or you can also call it as view. Now, the demo components like we'll be implementing contacts about, so that we will be redirecting it to that particular components, and then we'll be creating the main function of router. This will be main logic of routing, and then later on we'll be creating layout. So what is layout? We'll study it. And as we have seen in previous videos, that whenever we declare or whenever we create any component or any kind of function, we need to import it in app module, one of the most important step. So guys, now let's move towards our project. So this is a demo project which is already created. If you have to know the information how to create project and the project structure, please watch part 1 and part 5. So guys, as you can see that it has a demo component, a sample component, app component, and let's start the command prompt. The very important thing, before you start any development in Angular project, you need to start the command prompt so that it will keep on watching continuously. I'll type npm start. So guys, as we can see here that we have got our application running and we have got the message which says as home. Now let's see it in the component. You can see the title expression and we have given the message as home. So let us make few demo component that is written here in step 1. So let us make about page. Right click on views, create new folder, about, and then I'll create a new file in about which says about.component.ts. The other two files will be automatically created. You can see. Now create one more folder in views which says contact. Again, we'll make a file in contact with title contact.component.ts. The two files will be automatically created. So guys, now these are just the demo component. We don't have to write any complex thing. What we need to do is we'll just copy this code and we'll go to contact.component.ts and we'll paste it here, and we'll just change this title to contact, and we'll also change the class name. So here we'll change it to contact component. Now again, copy this code and go to about component.ts, paste it here, and only thing that we need to do here is change this title about. Now also change the class name which says as about component. So as we have created these two components, about and contact, let us include it in the app module which is here, app.module. App component is already included. Import about component from. Now we need to go 2 steps back in views, about, and about dot component. So I'll just copy the same syntax, and now we have to declare import contact component. The name of folder is contact, which is situated in views folder, and similarly the name of component is contact component. Now as we have imported the component, we need to declare it here. So just copy this, paste it here, again copy this and paste it. So now we have successfully imported the components that we have created. Now let's move to next step. Now next step is to create the router. So let's create the router. In app config, create a new folder which says with title router. So the folder is created. Now let's create a new file with title route.component.ts. The other two files will be automatically created. Okay, so files are created. Now let's write the code for routing logic. First of all, it is necessary to include a few modules. So let us include them. Import module with provider. From Angular core @Angular/core. Now import routes and route module. And router module. From Angular/router. Okay, it's slash router. Now let us import the component that we have declared about contact and home. So moving on to it. Now guys, it is if you remember, we have already imported it in app module. So let us just copy and paste it from here. Now if you see, it is at the same hierarchy, route component and app.module. So we have to go 2 steps back and then in views folder. So similarly 2 steps back and then in views folder. So it's fine if copy and paste. Now let's move towards the routing logic. Export constant routes of type routes with an array and the path is, so for home we'll have home path, and the component that we need to load for home will be app component. So here is the app component in home. Sorry. Copy app component and paste it here. Now what does this mean is, whenever you type home after the URL, app component will be loaded on the browser. I'll give comma and just copy and paste this down. Next will be contact. So I write here contact and we'll copy the contact component. We'll copy this again, paste it, remove this comma because it is the last. Now is for about and for about component. I formatted it. Okay, now we'll export one more constant. routing of type module with provider. Just copy this and we'll paste it here, is equal to, now we'll use this module, router module dot for root. Now in this parenthesis we need to include these routes that are declared. Okay, so it has been included. Now this is the logic for the routing. The actual routing concept is implemented here. Now let's move towards the next step. Now is the time to create the layout. So we'll also understand in detail what is meant by layout. Our router is implemented. Now similarly in app folder, we'll create a new folder again which says layout, and I'll create a new file, app.layout.ps. So the two files will be automatically generated. Now what you need to do here is go in app component and copy this all. Again go in layout and paste it here. Fine. So just backspace it, and now we'll start the actual implementation of layout. Now here in this layout we will declare a few links which will help us to navigate to these three components: about, contact and home, where the three components, these three links will be available on all the three pages, and these pages will be loaded in this layout. So it is the base layout which will be holding all the three components as per the URL. So let's declare the links. In traditional HTML, it is said as anchor tags, but in Angular we have to write this in this particular way. So the keyword is router link equal to double quotes, then again bracket, single quote, and here I'll just give simple slash which says home. Now what we need to write here is whatever we have declared in this router. So this all things are to be written here. Now I have written home for app component, so yes, I have to copy this home, or I can write it here, this slash, and we'll go in layout. Okay, then fine. Both the keywords are to be same in router link and the router concept, the code where we have written the code of routing. So let's go in this layout. I'll copy this again, I'll paste it here, and now let's check it out in the router. Now it's contact and about. Okay, moving further, contact, copy this, and now it's about. Okay, we have done this, and now let's enclose this in a div. And finally we have to write a syntax here. We have to write a tag, router outlet, and I'll close this. Now the meaning of this tag here is whichever link we press, the component, the view will be loaded after router outlet. So this is very important component. So guys, now we have written our layout template, and now it is very necessary to include base href in the index.html. So we'll go in this file. Actually it is present by default. Base href is equal to slash. You just have to check whether this is present or not. If not, please include it right after your head tag. Right after your head tag. Okay. Now as we have declared the layout and router, let us include it in the model. So moving to app module, now let us import the layout first. The name of our layout is, we'll change the name, we'll name it as app layout. So this is the class name of our app.layout. I'll copy this, we'll go in app module, I'll paste it here. Now we need to write the link. So to go to layout, I need to go one step back and then layout folder. Let's go one step back, layout slash app.layout. Okay, now it is time to import route component. Import. Now in this, what you need to import is this one, routing. So we'll copy and paste it here. Again we have to go one step back to router folder and then route.component. Now we need to include this app layout in the declarations, and the routing is to be included in the imports. Now guys, as you can see, we have bootstrapped app component. So app component will be loaded first, and you can also see here in app component.ts we have written here my app. Actually now we don't need this, as we have to bootstrap the layout first. That means we have to load the layout window first. So I'll remove this. It is necessary to remove this selector from all the components. Again let's remove this. Again in this one. So it is very necessary in app layout to write the selector my app. That means now we have to bootstrap the app layout, as the app layout has the selector as my app. So in index, app layout will be loaded, and depending on the URL, its component will be loaded. Now one more thing to do in the router logic is, what if the URL is not present, then where we need to redirect it. So for this we can also write for it, just give a comma here, press enter, and then path for blank, the component, if there is no keyword in front of your URL, then which page to load. For example, I have to load the app component, which is home. Now I will copy this again. Now what if the user enters any keyword after your URL? So for this, any keyword means if the user type any random keyword, that will be treated as star star, and again the component to be loaded is app component. So all the conditions are handled here. I'll explain you again. In app module we have bootstrapped app layout, and in app layout you can see the selector is my app. So app layout will be rendered at the beginning in the browser in the index.html here, and as we have written here the router logic, depending on which URL it has at the starting, that particular component will be loaded. One thing that is to be noted down here, if there is no keyword, then it is treated by this one, so we don't have to include this. I'll backspace it, and now let's move towards the browser and we'll just check for the output. So you can see that there is no error in the console, and accordingly we have got these three links that we have designed in the anchor tab in Angular way, and the current page loaded is home. Guys, you can see that there is no keyword here. So if we have a look in the router logic, the path is no keyword and the component loaded is app component, this one. In views, this is the app component loaded, and the message that we have given is home. So similarly we have got the output as home. Now if I click on contact, you can see that the keyword comes here, contact, and accordingly the contact page is loaded. Now if you remember the router app layout, we have written this. As I have explained it, whenever you click on this particular link, that particular component will be loaded after this tag. So let's have a look in the browser. I will click on inspect, and guys, you can see that this is router outlet tag, and our form, our component is loaded after this tag as explained. When I click on about, I'll get the about output. So guys, this way we have implemented the router logic. Now it's not only you have to click, even if you write manually, if I write about manually and click enter, we will get the about page. So guys, in this way we have studied the implementation of routing in Angular 2, and please do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Keep studying, keep enjoying. Thank you.